Good morning, all, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Leon. I'm the head trainer here at Back to Basics Dog Training. And each and every Saturday morning, I bring you this live, free Q&A session to help you with all your dog training needs. Good morning, Dominique. I hope I said that right. Thank you for joining us this morning. So again, this is a live free Q&A session that I do every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. We're going to be changing it up a little bit coming up soon. Next week, for anybody who's watching now live in living color or on the replay later on, I'm bringing this out in the very beginning. Next week, I'm going to have a special guest on the platform. It is a customer of mine who I have worked with in the past. And they're going to tell you some of the success they've had with their dog. She's been a frequent follower here on my live Q&A. So I'm excited to bring her here. And anybody else who maybe want to join us, I can always send people the link. I can invite multiple people on to have conversations. So, your experience from my training, either being here on this platform and never seeing me in person in your own home, or if you have had me in your own home, how my training methodologies have helped you guys help your dogs. So if you want to join that, shoot me a comment. Let me know. When I set it up in the middle of the week, I'll send you the links. It's a very simple thing. It's a web platform-based software I'm using. So all you need is a web browser. You can do it on your phone, your laptop, your PC, whatever you got. So with that being said, while I'm waiting for questions to come in, as always, I am going to start it with a topic of concern of mine that I've seen or heard talked about during the week with people. And unfortunately, it's the same thing week after week after week I see on Facebook and the different social media things. And the big thing is threshold management. This week alone, I probably saw about 10 to 15 posts regarding dogs getting out through yards and not understanding threshold management. Sorry, got a little distracted. Zoe was making some noises. So we're going to talk about some threshold management issues, and from there we'll go forward until we start getting some questions. So, when I talk about threshold management, a lot of times I talk about front door etiquette. Keeping your dog from going out the front door without permission. It's real important to start walking your dog so they're not bolting out the front door, dragging you out the door on their leash. And it is really important. I have a saying, front door open doesn't mean out. It saves dogs' lives. That overexcitement going out the front door. We need to learn how to control that. And I do talk about that quite often. And one of the things I don't think I talk about enough is that you need to take that to your yards, to your gates. And the reason being is, I hear and I see on, the wonderful world of social media that too many dogs are getting out through the yards, they let them out. They didn't realize the gate was open. The landscapers left the gate open. The wind was blowing. The gate was open. The kids were playing whatever, and the gate was open and the dog gets out. So that same theory of threshold management needs to be taken to the gates. And how do you do that? It's the same issue, same way that you would control the front door to go out for the walk, which is if you go to my YouTube channel, please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure you do. Go to my How to Leash Train Your Dog playlist. Episode 2 is about threshold management. Threshold management needs to be taken to any place where the dog has access to the outside world, basically. We got Renee here asking a question. My rescue dog has a horrible vet anxiety as well as anxiety regarding grooming. Anything that can make her feel like she's not fully in charge of her own body. We are currently sedating her to go to the vet. Is there anything else I can do to help that? Absolutely. You can do a lot to help it. You'd have to talk to your vet. Sedation is not my favorite avenue for helping these dogs through. I don't like working with, stone dogs. So one of the things I tell people to do is, if your dog's normally a happy-go-lucky dog, and just for whatever reason the vet and the groomer stresses out the dog, I think one of the main problems as humans, what we have is the only time we take our dogs any place is to go to the vet or the groomer. If that's the case, think about what we're doing to the dogs. The only time they get outside their four walls in their yard or whatever is to go to a vet or groomer, which are stressful situations. We need to eliminate that. So one of the things I tell people to do is, one, start taking your dogs out to more public places, where dog-friendly places. Go for a walk out in public. Go to different parks. Go to different places. Go to Lowe's. Go to Home Depot. Go to Petco with your dog. Bring them there. And it's not about people petting your dog and playing with your dog. It's to show your dog we can go some places that are fun. Maybe not in the beginning. Don't go to Petco and the big box stores that are dog friendly. Bring them to places where it's more fun, more one-on-one bonding with you. That's why I like kind of going on nature hikes with the dog out in public. So we're just going someplace in the car, but it's not to one of those stressful places. The other thing I tell people all the time, when we go to the vet, because we fear our dogs are going to have an anxiety attack at a vet or at a groomer, think about the energy we're putting out at that time, driving to the vet, driving to the groomer. We're like, oh my God, the pup's going to react. She's going to react. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they're reading this energy back and forth with us. So by the time we get there, we're so tense about it, they're going to be tense. So the best thing you can do is try to convince yourself, and not try, do it, that the vet and the groomer are good places. And then just start working on your own energy. The other thing I tell people to do when they have these things is go for a good structured walk before you leave for the vet or the groomer. Take the time. I know life is, everybody's rushing around. Leave yourself some time. Take the dog for a good structured walk before you get into the car to go to the vet. Half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, of structure to tire them out a little bit. And then when you get to the vet or the groomer, try to get there early and take a walk around the facility, in the front yard or whatever, wherever, as long as it's safe, and then bring them in a calmer state of mind, if that makes sense. The other thing I tell people to do is talk to your vet, talk to your groomer. Just go there without it, not to be examined, not to get a haircut or anything like that. Just go there, walk into the lobby, give them a treat if they're food motivated, have the staff give them maybe treats if they're food motivated, to start changing their perception of, oh my God, I go there and I get put on in a vet, a cold steel table, or a groomer, and I get put up on this table. So you need to start doing things differently. And a lot of vets that I know, I'm not saying all vets, and a lot of groomers I know would let you do that. And it's a great way to desensitize them to the process. But it starts with you. It starts with us. Our energy makes the difference. If we know going to the vet or going to the groomer is a good thing for our dog is going to follow because of our energy. So take the time, definitely master the walk. It's so important. It builds that confidence. Take your dog to other places besides the vet and the groomer if that's the only place you take them. So they understand that not every time they get in the car, we're going someplace where somebody's going to make me uncomfortable. And then talk to your vet and talk to your groomer about just bringing the dog in for fun. If the vet is really good and the groomer is really good, you can maybe after a time or two of just going into the lobby, go into the exam room, get a treat when you get into the exam room, pick them up, put them on the table. Don't do anything. Same thing with the groomer. Maybe they can put them up on the grooming table, but you have to have a conversation with your vet and your groomer. So I hope that made sense. Dominique says, I love Chihuahuas and want to get one, but I know they typically do not do well with small children. Any tips? Guys, I hear this all the time about the Chihuahua breed. Chihuahua breeds are not these horrible creatures people make them sound to be. I had a Chihuahua, got along with everybody. It's all the rules that you set for the dog. And the thing, what I see most, I'm having problems with English today, is because they're small dogs, when they have these unwanted behaviors, as humans, we tend to pick them up and say, it's okay. They react to a child, they react to a person, they react to another dog. we pick them up and we start soothing them when they're in an unsure state of mind. So when it comes to these situations, Chihuahuas are just like any other dog. I don't care that they're little; they can be the same as a Great Dane. But you got to treat them and give them the same rules you would expect from a Great Dane. So what does that mean for the Chihuahua? You get the Chihuahua; they react to the children, to a child. You make a correction, say no, this is unacceptable, and then the child has to give them their space till the mind is calm, and then we can reintroduce. But they should be on the floor, not being held. Um, and remember, height makes right. So the higher you hold them up, the more powerful they feel. I've seen this, and we talked about grooming earlier, where people bring dogs into grooming shops, these small, fluffy dogs, and they're holding them, and the dog is shaking, 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 shaking. And they're like, see, the dog doesn't like coming here. Blah, 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 blah. No, put the dog on the ground. Once we put the dog on the ground, it's fine, because that's what where a dog should be. I'm not saying don't pick up your dog and cuddle your dog. Pick them up and cuddle them when they're in the right state of mind. And that's a calm state of mind. There is no reason Chihuahuas are any different than any other dog. So you can condition them that if they do react to children, because again, human-wise, they react to the child, we pick them up and we sit there literally when they're in an unsure state of mind and say, it's okay, it's only Junior. Junior's not going to hurt. And we soothe them in that unsure state of mind, which actually reinforces the unsure state of mind. So I hope that makes sense. I'm getting a lot of questions here, so I'm forgetting where I am. So give me a second. Let me just scroll up down here. So Dominique, I hope that answered your question. Renee, I hope I answered your question. Brittany, thank you for joining us. Yes, says our dog even comes to the school drop off, and excited dog is a calmer dog. Yep. Wow. An exercise dog is a calmer dog. Sorry. Absolutely. The more you can do, and it's not about physical exercise, guys. When I talk about walking the dog, it's not about physical. It's more about the mental challenge. We don't mentally challenge our dogs enough. A mentally challenged, mentally exercised dog is a calmer dog, because they don't have the energy to get that ramped up, so you can get your corrections in quicker. They behave quicker. We can turn the no's into yeses quicker, and it all just snowballs down. That's why I stress so much mastering the walk. How to leash train your dog on my YouTube channel. It really should be mastering the walk. If you haven't, like I said earlier, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow those steps. It's a great help. Kelly, what do you recommend for a Chi that bites? He has food aggression, but no toy guarding. He bites if he gets annoyed for any reason. Well, again, one of the main reasons I find with the smaller breed dogs is that we tend to pick them up because we're not so afraid of the bite from the smaller dog as we are with the bigger dog. So I would do the same thing I would do with any other size dog. If the dog is showing me food aggression, you need to become more relevant than the food in the dog's world. So what you can do is feed your dog on a leash. You're with the dog. I'm not saying put your hand in the food bowl. I hate when people do that. Your dog should be comfortable with people passing and standing next to them when they eat. If they start guarding their food at any time with the leash, you're going to make a correction. No, don't take away the food. That's just cruel and inhumane. And let them eat until they get it. Oh, somebody can be by me when I'm eating. They're not stealing my food. I don't have to fight for my food, whatever. But you have to be willing to make a correction and not just accept the behavior. So again, when a dog exhibits this resource guarding of food with me, they're fed on a leash. I may use a tennis racket to use it as my hand to block the food source, because let them bite the tennis racket. Who gives a crap? I don't use it to play tennis with the dog, but I use it just to block the dog. And then and that's something else you can do. So you're feeding your dog, you're with your dog, she growls, she goes to snap it, you make your leash correction, no, you take your tennis racket and you block the food until she gets to a calmer state of mind, and then good, you reward her for the state of mind by allowing her to eat. Some dogs that are really bad with food aggression, I have been known to hand feed them. It takes forever to feed them, but because I become more relevant than the food, because I'm actually going to put the kibble in my hand, maybe one or two pieces, and when I see the mind is calm, I'm going to let them eat it. I'm going to repeat. I'm going to repeat until I see that every time I go to give them food, the mind is calm. Then I put those same few pieces of kibble into their bowl to see if it changes. And then if I start seeing the change, I let them have the food, so on and so forth. But at any time when you're in the feeding process with any dog, their state of mind when you put that food bowl down should be calm. I hope that makes sense, Kelly. It's real hard to do. It takes time, it takes patience, but it works. Good morning, Michelle. Athena was afraid of cars all of a sudden. She used to live in, love car rides. I'm assuming that. I intend to get her back with a bully stick or treat to lure her in today. I stay with her while we ride around the block. Yeah. What you can do is a couple of things. When you see a dog all of a sudden, for whatever reason, have a phobia about a car. Good morning, Michelle. Um, One of the things I tell people to do is stop just putting the dog in the car and going for a car ride. Never force a dog into a car. That's a big thing. What I tend to do when I have dogs that have this phobia about cars is I would open up both back doors. I would go for a walk. Both back doors are open. And then I would actually literally just walk through the car. We'll crawl through the car, whatever, with the dog to show them, hey, just because we're going in here doesn't mean we're shutting doors. And then eventually what I would do is stop in the middle. They're calm, take them out, praise, praise, praise. And then eventually shut the doors when they're calm, take them out. We're not going anywhere yet. And then eventually just take them around the block in a calm state of mind. Watch the state of mind. I don't lure them in necessarily retreats. If you need to, you need to. They do understand leash pressure. You hold pressure, they hold pressure, and they move. You release the pressure, you get them to come follow you that way. It's again, one of those things. It's time, labor, and love. How should you correct a bite incident? Kelly, great question. I need a little bit more content. Why did the dog bite? There's usually, I've said it before on this platform. Michelle, if you're still watching, I've said this about a bunch of your rescue dogs. She got in and jumped out the back door as the back door was closing. Okay, so you need to control it, and that may have scared her a little bit. So just leave the doors open. Don't let her have the escape mechanism. Remember, guys, dogs have the same reactions we do, fight or flight. So, for whatever reason she got spooked, don't overthink it. The car ride's a good thing. Just get her in there, sit with her in the back seat till she's calm, then take her out. You have to invite her out. This goes back to threshold management. It's the same theory. You put a dog in a car, they're not just supposed to jump out on their own when the door's open, because that can get them killed in a parking lot. Open the door, dog jumps out, boom. So that is the same as threshold management. Dog can't come out of the car excited or on their own without you releasing them from the car. It'll save their lives. So work on that as if you were working threshold management. So getting back to the bite incident, most of the dogs that I've worked with over the year, they bite for a reason. They don't bite for no reason. It's not unpredictable. There's always usually, there's a warning every single time. If we see it or not, that's up to us. But most dogs that bite are for two specific reasons. And the number one reason in my world is fear biting. I think that's the number one reason, or overexcitement would be the second reason. Dogs are not born aggressive. Aggression is an outcome of an issue that wasn't addressed properly. So if a dog bites, and kids, you got to be careful with this. You need to, if a dog has a bite, you really should get a professional in the house to work with you a little bit, but we can give you some tips now. What was the reason the dog bit somebody? That would be my first question to you. Did they feel trapped? Were they scared? Did somebody reach over to try to pet it too fast? There's usually a reason for their biting. But when they bite, you need to discipline, and you can't discipline if you're angry. You can't discipline if you're frustrated because the dog bit. It comes down to my no anger, no frustration, but no nonsense. Dog bites me, and I've been bit, unfortunately, doing my job. Thank God, not too often. And I'm going to use a bite hit story that I actually had that I used to show you how you can control it, because it's more about your energy. But you need to know how to discipline the dog without the anger and the frustration. And it's not about you bit me, I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm telling you that now, that never works. So I was bit a few years back in my hand, got 9 stitches after the fact. Now, and the dog was not on a leash. The dog, so I had no real control of the dog. I didn't know the dog had a bite history. Dog bit me. And my normal reaction when I get bit by a dog or a dog goes to bite me is I'm going to bite it back. My hand becomes a mouth. I bite like another dog, and it's not about biting and holding it down. Well, I'm more dumb. No, it's not about that. It's a bunch of crap. But I would bite the dog, maybe pin it down to the ground. I don't know. It depends on the circumstances. But my intensity in that touch, and I use the word touch specifically, is if the dog is at a 4, I'm biting or touching at a 5. I'm not at a 10 because I'm not letting my anger in. So with this specific dog that bit me, when I went to go do the touch, I actually missed. I realized I'm not a very good lefty at that point, and I missed. So the dog had an opportunity to run down a hallway. Doors were shut. I had to follow. I had no choice. I had to follow this dog because I never want a dog to think if I bite you, you leave me alone, I become powerful. This is what happens at groomers, at vets, at different things. The dogs learn that if I do this and you leave me alone, I'm more powerful when I'm in those uncomfortable situations. So you got to do your follow through. And the follow through is not stopping the bite, it's stopping the state of mind. So with this dog that bit me, when he went down the hallway, I went 5 feet away from him, and all I did, nope. And I stood there, and I focused on me. I breathed in the roses, blew out the candles, just to focus, channel my inner energy to stay as calm as possible. So this dog, who was a red zone level 10 dog, who if I would have probably went 4 feet from him, may have lunged at me. I just sat there, and I watched this creature go from a 10 to a 9 to an 8, and you see it change. You just see the mind changing. He's like, okay, I did this, and this person's not doing what most people do, which is that anger. He started feeding more of my energy, and he calmed himself down. When he got to a level 5, I actually lowered my body. I squatted like a catcher, still kept myself upright, watching him because he's an animal. And within about 2 minutes, the dog actually laid down and submitted to me. And I never touched the dog or said a word to the dog. And once he submitted to me, I'm like, good. Got up, made the mistake of looking at my hand, and it really hurt a lot at that point. Cleaned up my hand. Took us about 5-10 minutes to clean up the mess in the house in my hand. Dog's still laying there. I called him over to me. He came right over to me. Wasn't afraid of me. Snuggled into me. The father was like, oh, look, he's sorry. He wasn't sorry. He was just happy I disciplined him in his language. So, I always tell people, the higher the dog goes in this unsure state of mind, the lower you need to check your energy. And the best way I can describe it is because of the wonderful world of the Apple Watch, I was actually able to track that day with my heart rate. And what I noticed is right before I got bit, my heart rate, because I was up, I'm standing, it was probably about 80 something beats a minute. I think it was 82. Once I got bit, you can see my heart rate went way up. It went up to about 140 something. I don't remember the exact numbers. This was 5 years ago or something like that. Within a minute of the bite, my heart rate was actually down to 72 beats a minute because I was able to control my energy and I stayed in that calm state of mind. I actually lowered my energy to help this dog understand, hey, you made a mistake. You bit me. That's okay. They bite for a reason. It's my job to figure out the reason. I struggle with knowing when to stop the calm standing my ground. He will look away and I think he is done. Then I go walk away and he growls. Yeah. No, because when he looks away, he's going through the avoidance. Remember, it's fight, flight, avoidance, submission. That order. So when they look away, they're avoiding. They're saying, okay, if I look away, maybe, look at that. She left. Let me growl because now I'm tough. And then you just come back and you stand your ground again. To me, to get to complete submission is the dog laying down or sitting there, head low, almost in an apologetic stand, but everything is relaxed. There's no tension in the dog's body because if you without being there, Kelly, I'm going to almost guarantee when this happens, when they turn around, you'll see tension in their neck or their back. So that tells you the state of mind is not there. It's still not calm. It's still not in a submissive state of mind. And I'm not saying submissive to the point where the dog's tail's tucked between its legs or it's sitting there shaking. That's not submission to me. That's fear. And I don't want fear. You can do the same thing. It's just waiting till you get to the state of mind you want. Avoidance isn't it. So it's fight, flight, avoidance, submission. You need to get to the submission stage. And that is when they either lay down or they walk away. When they walk away, that means I'm done. Sometimes you'll even see one of the submission things that is they'll yawn. Like, and it's not because they're tired. They're actually getting rid of some bad energy and they're saying, I don't want any more trouble. And you can praise. Don't get excited with your praise. Once they submit to you, good. Just turn around and walk away. If they make a mistake and they growl again because they think they're tough, just turn around a little bit more forceful. Use your body language and energy. Because remember, energy is the most important thing. You can't sit there saying, what if my dog reacts? What if this? What if that? I hate that what if question. Everybody knows that. It's the dumbest question we ask. What if and why? I know I asked, why do you think your dog bit? But that's because I need to know what was the situation. Why the dog bit doesn't make a damn bit of difference. It's okay. We don't like it. Let's figure out a way to control it, stop it, and teach them a better way to do it. So I hope that makes sense, Kelly. If you need further clarification on that, guys, and remember, we do this free thing. I try to hit a lot of questions, but we can always set up a Zoom session, private one-on-one Zoom sessions. If you're not in the South Carolina area, we can set up one-on-one Zooms. They're definitely more economically efficient. It's 2 hours of just you and me talking about your dog, not me talking about a plethora of different issues. But the Zoom thing is a great thing. I've helped a lot of customers with Zoom sessions because it's understanding the dog psychology. It's not about me physically handling the dog. It's about you understanding your dog in their language. And that's what we need to learn, how to bridge that gap in the communication gap bridge between us and our animals. As humans, we use a lot of verbal, we use a lot of hand signs, we're very animated people. That is not the dog's language. This blurb that I have right there, energy is the most important communication tool. Your energy is what's going to communicate between you and your dog every single time. So the calmer you stay when they're in that heightened state, the quicker they're going to get it. Same way when you walk a leash reactive dog. If your dog is reacting and you're reacting at a higher level of intensity with your energy, you're just escalating it. You're escalating it. You're escalating it. Your corrections have to be at a higher level, but your energy has to be at a lower level, if that makes sense. And remember what we just talked about with Kelly. The follow through is the crucial thing. Follow through always till you get to the state of mind you want. Same thing I was telling Michelle with Athena. You can introduce the car or whoever the young lady I was speaking to about the vet and the groomer. It's going after the correct state of mind. So if I was to bring a dog that was afraid of a vet, and I did this with the St. Bernard guys, who was terrified of a vet. I brought the dog into the vet's office. We always worked on the state of mind, got treats when they were in the calm state of mind because he was very food motivated. When he was calm, I gave him a treat. We walked out, came back in, and we repeated this process, I don't know how many times. And then eventually, because the vet was a cool vet, I brought the dog into the examination room. Got to the state of mind I wanted. We praised, we gave treats, we took him out of the examination room. And we repeated the whole process as many times as we needed for that dog. So the dog understood, oh, this isn't a bad place. And now the reports I get years later is the dog's almost a model patient at the vet's office. From a dog who was terrified. I mean, I don't blame him because he got himself into a lot of trouble as a pup and he was in the vet's office and they were doing some horrible things to him because he would eat everything. But you can change it. It's just taking the time and having the honest conversation with the vet or the groomer or with yourself. Why did the dog bite me? What did I do that made this dog want to bite? Or what did this person do that made my dog want to bite? Usually, like I said, in my experience, most dog bites are fear-based. The other ones, overexcitement turns to the bite because then they get too frantic. In my opinion, dogs are not born aggressive. Aggression is an outcome of an issue that just never was addressed properly. It's learning, and the reason it wasn't addressed properly is strictly because we don't know how to communicate with our dogs. So, guys, I hope this makes sense. Put it in the comments. Let me know if the stuff I'm spewing out here makes sense to you, because it helps me. It helps me focus a little bit more when I know what I'm giving you is relevant to what you're doing. Kelly, like I said, if you want to set up a one-on-one Zoom to go a little bit more in depth on how we can make these corrections and some of the tools and techniques you can use, we can definitely set up a Zoom. Just shoot me a message, text message me. I'll put my contact information up here. You can always text me at the phone number given here. Erica, it's my pleasure to give this advice. Anytime I can help, that's why I'm here. We're here to help the animals. We're here to help the humans, more so the animals, of course. But if we help the animals, we help the humans, and that just goes. So you guys, you can always text me at my 631-514-9128 or shoot me an email at info@backtobasicsdogtraining.com. You can private message me on my Facebook page, Back to Basics Dog Training SC for South Carolina, because I know some of you people are watching from Remember Me Rescue. Remember Me Rescue site. So if you're watching me there, I do see those messages come through after the fact, but I don't see them as quickly as I do see them on my Back to Basics page. So if you put them on, find my Back to Basics page, make sure you like it, send me your message. Erica, watching from New York. Brittany says, this is honestly really great. Dog behavior is fascinating. It is. And it's really just, a lot of trainers, guys, I've said this before, make a big deal out of this. If you break it down to common sense, it's listening to what they're saying. Stop with the words. Stop with the whys. Stop with the what ifs, because those are never, ever going to make your dog better. Stop worrying about your dog's past. My dog bit me yesterday. Today's a new day. Can't fix the dog bite from yesterday. I can learn from it, not make the same mistake twice. But my job is to live in the moment and help these dogs move forward in the moment. What they did yesterday doesn't matter. I can't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow's a new day. I haven't been there yet. I can't predict the future. So I worry about the moment, and that's how the dogs think about it. They think about the moment. That dog that bit me lived in the moment with me. And we corrected the unwanted behavior. It wasn't a bad behavior. It was an unwanted behavior in the moment, not an hour later. If you listen to how that trend, I did not clean up my hand until I got what I needed to the dog. Now, that was a severe bite. I don't expect most people to do it. My family knows I'm very good at blocking out pain when I need to. I'm able to do that, thank God. So I was able to help this dog. But I dealt with that incident in the moment. Same way I deal with if I have two dogs that are get into a little scuffle, I deal with it in the moment. I don't send dogs to their neutral corners. We deal with it right where it happened in the moment, because that's how they live. The old theory of, back in the day when my dad was training our dogs, if a dog had an accident in the house, shove the dog's nose into it. That's useless. It's not in the moment. You don't catch it, you can't fix it. You have to fix things in the moment. So, those people that have puppies and the puppies have an accident that they don't see, and they're like, what did you do? It's useless. If you don't catch them, forget about it, chalk it up to experience, clean up the mess, and move forward. If you see them having an accident in the house, you can correct it there. But if you don't catch it, you can't correct it. So again, guys, think about how the dog is thinking about it. Put yourself in their shoes. And that's what I try to do every single day, every time I work with a dog, every time I talk to people about dogs, is I try to think like the dog. And my job is to teach you dog as a second language, because they're not going to learn English as a second language. So guys, I hope that makes sense. We're at the half-hour mark. Of course, if there's more questions, we'll stay on longer. If not, we're going to start wrapping it up here. Nope, we got a chat came in. Whoops, hold on, I messed up. My pup is a little rat terrier mix who I foster failed. Good for you, foster failures are my favorite. He has a very he has a problem being reactive every time we walk when we pass a new dog. I feel like he's guarding me. He is very overprotective. I try to correct it, but he is always hell bent on lunging towards them. Okay, so my first question is, because he's a little rat terrier, are you using a harness? If you are, get rid of the damn harness, unless the dog has a trachea problem. Get him on a martingale collar. Your corrections have to mean something. Two, the next thing I would ask you is, how does the whole walk process start? Is he overly excited to start the walk? If he is, you can't walk him. Calm the mind down. You need to become relevant. That's why I talk about threshold management a lot. Um, and next week with my special guest, we're going to talk about threshold management because that helped her. Threshold management is about, and this is going to come out totally wrong, it's a control issue. Yeah. If he doesn't need the harness, Erica, because he has a trachea problem, my suggestion would be get a martingale collar, put him on that. So when you make a correction with your leash, you're correcting just his head. That's because he's overly excited. And if he chokes himself, he's stupid. I'm sorry. Um, with the harness, when you make a correction, you're correcting the dog's entire body. Well, reality is you're trying to correct the brain, not the whole body. Um, no, I know what you meant. If he's choking himself, he's stupid. But that's why it's so important to start the walk off in a calmer state of mind. Threshold management is crucial. Threshold management is crucial. It's that bonding because you're taking control. Remember when I talk about mastering the walk, guys, the walk that I designed, that's that playlist that I keep telling you guys to go to on my YouTube channel. It's about structure and leadership. That's what your dogs need. That's what we need. Um, so, but it starts the moment you put the dog on the leash. Yeah, very smart, very and young. That's great because he's moldable. But if he is excited getting out your front door, bolting out your front door at 700 miles an hour, you can't walk him. You got to bring him back in. He has to walk out your front door as a gentleman. Wait for you when you get out the front door for your walk so you can close the door, lock your door if you need to, then continue your walk. If he's dragging you because he's overly excited, everything that is that sense of excitement, which is another dog or a person, is going to be escalated because you should start to walk here, but you're starting to walk here. So now he sees something that's excited, he's here. Instead of starting it here, then when he sees something excited, it's here, and you can bring him back down quicker. So, Erica, I don't know if you joined my YouTube channel. It's Back to Basics Dog Training. I'll put the links in on the later tonight on the comment section, top comments. So make sure you follow along to that playlist. Watch my how to leash train my dog. It's a 5-episode playlist. It starts with the process of putting the leash on and getting to the front door. Then it talks about threshold management. Then it talks about the structure of the walk. Master those steps. If you can start your walk off at a lower level of excitement, you're going to see that when he sees the other dog, as long as you don't tense up, because now you're in your head, you're saying, oh my God, another dog, he's going to react. Oh my God, let me wrap the leash around my hand 1,000,000 times. I'm ready for war. You're creating it. So instead, start him off in a calm state of mind. You see the other dog before he does, start watching. As soon as you see the slightest change in his body language, correct him. No, sit, give him something else to do. But you have to stay calm. You can't predict the future, so don't. I hope that makes sense, Erica. Well, it makes sense because you just said it in the comments. Um, you know, we definitely can do this, guys. It starts with us. Check our energy, check our egos at the door. Not the energy at the door. Check your egos at the door. Check the anger and the frustration at the door. Forget about it. Forget the mistakes that the pups made yesterday because it doesn't make a damn bit of difference today because we can move them forward. They truly live in the moment. What they look for every single day is calm, assertive pack leaders to tell them what to do. If you're that calm, assertive pack leader, they're not going to be overprotective of you because you're not going to need them to because the pack leader doesn't need the protection. When you need it, they'll protect you naturally because they know. So with that being said, guys, this was a great week. I love the questions. Anybody who does need further clarification and would like to have that little bit more one-on-one with the issues of your dog, please remember to reach out to me. We can always set up a Zoom session. Like I said, it's definitely more economically efficient than me coming to somebody's home, and it can help you a lot. So with that being said, guys, thank you again for inviting me into your homes each and every Saturday morning. I look forward to this every week. My family knows it. I get excited every Saturday morning. I start pacing probably about a half hour before this because I got so much built up excitement. I know I talk about reward and the calm. But I appreciate you guys letting me into your house each and every Saturday morning. As always, stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We'll see you next Saturday with our special guests. Stark's mom and dad will be joining us to talk about how this in real life worked for them. See you next week, guys.